Hello, Bear Pawers. Welcome to the Bear Den. It is Tuesday, and we are the 24th day of September. It's almost October. Doesn't feel like it outside. It's supposed to be cooling off by now. To our friends in Florida, good luck. I know you've got Helen, headed towards y'all on that western part of the state. So be careful, get locked in, be safe, all the good stuff. We gotta talk about Mondays. Something's going on with everyone. Did you know, this is a fun fact, that most heart attacks happen on a Monday morning, right? Monday morning. So it's like people on their way to work because the weekends were good and they just don't want to go to work that bad. So there's that fact, and the thing is like the weekends are great. Everyone goes out and does stuff on the weekends. So we kind of start thinking in the medical field like, oh, we'll see people more on Mondays because they hurt themselves on the weekends. But really what's happening is y'all are going out and having fun, and nobody gets hurt when they're having fun. Nobody does. Tons of people get hurt at work, but nobody gets hurt having fun, right? And so it's not until Monday where you're like, oh, I don't really feel so good. So then you start thinking, oh, I should go to the chiropractor on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. So how about this? If you're planning a fun weekend, you're going to be fishing, going to the beach, you can play ball with your kids, you're going to be doing yard work. What if we were proactive, and by we, I mean you are proactive, and got your scheduled appointment for Monday before you did all that stuff, so that then on Monday you'll be like, ooh, that really did come back and haunt me a little bit. I'm glad I made the appointment. So I'm putting that little seed in your head that maybe we can get some proactiveness going on, because really Mondays are the time. Like Mondays give us a chance to get through the stuff that happened on the weekend, and then we have the whole week to figure out, do we need to get you in again? Can we get you in again? And can we take care of this before it becomes a major problem? Because the other part that we all do as humans, like, oh, it's going to be fine. It's a little soreness, and I'll just wait for a couple days. But then a couple days happens, and then life happens, and then you've forgotten about it, and then I had a gentleman in the other day, 6 weeks later, coming in and needing a miracle because you got something going on, and we can't make miracles happen when cement is solidified in the joints. So if you're planning on something, long story short, if you're planning on something, like, call us, call Liz, get in on the schedule for Monday, and then it's a lot easier to take care of those things. Or just be like, hey, I could just use an adjustment on a Monday rather than waiting until it's really become a problem. Okay, so that's my little 2 cents for the day. Don't be a heart attack statistic, all right? Just get yourself taken care of early on, okay? So we might have some big things coming up. Not really ready to talk about it yet, but I'm really excited about the direction we're headed at Bear Paw, and I'm really glad that you guys are on the ride, all along on the ride with me. See, I get excited and then I don't talk straight. But today, I wanted to use this as a little more educational, right? We already got a little heart attack tidbit, but we wanted to talk about some questions have come up lately about, like, what is arthritis? What does it mean for my back? Okay. So we got to start thinking about what the spine looks like. And if we look at what the ideal spine looks like, the ideal spine's got kind of a curve to it. Okay. Like that. Okay. And that curve is actually going towards the front, towards your belly button. Okay. You have the same curve kind of going in the front on your neck and as you do on your lower back. Okay. The middle back, that thoracic spine's kind of got that little, it's supposed to be like this, but just not that pronounced, right? So you got a little S pattern going on, and that S pattern does a few things. The most important thing that it does is it keeps us stacked and keeps the right forces generated through our spine. And it also keeps these they're called foramen, right? The holes, the right size so that our nerve roots can get out. Okay, so let's talk about what it looks like. So up here on top, we've got our brain. And our brain is surrounded by bone. I think we can all agree on that. All right, the brain's got to send signal to the body through the spinal cord. Okay, and I'm going to use my little models today. And so this is the spinal cord right here. Okay, and look at all that bone that surrounds that spinal cord. So it tells you how important those two structures are. You've got bones surrounding the brain, you got bones surrounding the spinal cord, because you need to have those things protected because they're the most important parts of our body. All right, so the weakest link then becomes these nerve roots. Okay, and look at those holes that it creates between the two bones. Okay, two holes. Okay, and when the whole system's working great, that nerve root's able to slide and glide out of the way. Okay, it's just able to move. Problem. But something happens. You go out and you do that yard work, or you fall, or you play with your kids, or something happens and that bone gets stuck. Okay, we're gonna make this bottom one the stuck one. Okay, then we go, look what happens to that nerve root now. It starts to get pinched on this side. You can guys see it's kind of getting pinched, or it's getting pulled. Okay, two things that nerves don't like is to be pinched or pulled. Right? Because who likes to be pinched or pulled? Nobody likes to be pinched or pulled. So our nerve roots aren't any different. So we've got that pinching and that pulling that's going on. So that's getting bad signal out to the body, and the body can't get good signal up to the brain because it's not going through there. Okay, so all of this is happening, and the other parts that are happening is right here at the disc. Okay, this is the disc that we talk about. And this disc has got these fibers that go around, kind of like the tires in a car. And when the whole system is working great and the bones are able to move apart from each other, that's how this disc gets its nutrients. Okay, so it stays, it's got food, it's got nutrients, and it's almost kind of more like a wet, right? Because it's got all the fluids going into it. But if it's stuck, if there's a segment that's stuck and it's not moving and creating that suction force, those fibers aren't getting the nutrients, they kind of start drying out. Okay, so follow me. So you've got pinching and pulling of the nerve root, you've got some drying out of this disc, and now you've got that bone that's rubbing on that disc, just like that. So now you've got bruising of that bone. So three things are going on. Pinching nerved, you've got drying out of the disc, and you've got bone that is trying to heal. So when it's trying to heal, it's kind of like throwing spit wads at a wall. Does anyone have a kid who's ever done that, or have you ever done that? You just take the paper towel, it's wet, and throw it against the wall and hope something sticks. And then when it dries, it's all gnarly and crackly, right? Well, the same thing happens in the body. The body's going to steal bone from this big part, and it's going to lay it down here, and it is not going to lay it down in a nice, even pattern. It's going to just throw it up against the wall and hope it sticks. And what that ends up looking like is this, right? That gnarly pattern. And this is what we call arthritis, okay? So we talk about the arthritis that is happening in the body. It's because it's trying to protect, it's trying to heal some of the bruising that's happening. And then what can happen is now you've got that disc that's getting shorter, right? Because it doesn't have any nutrients, and that dried out, kind of like an old rubber band, is starting to get broken down and pushed on. And then the sandpaper that is that arthritis is starting to rub it on it, right? So just like the tires in a car, if you wear down enough fibers, look what can happen. You get a blowout. Okay, and this is when we talk about a herniated disc. This is what we're talking about, all right? So all that to say is that's why those proper curves are so important, because it gets those holes where those nerve roots come out to be optimal, and it keeps the bones from rubbing on each other. Okay, so that's what that ultimately comes down to. Everything that drives us at Bear Paw is trying to avoid these processes. Get the right curvatures going on in the neck and the lower back, and trying to avoid all the arthritis and the lack of nutrients going into the disc. So how do we do that? All right, so that's the greatest question. Is at Bear Paw, we've got so many ways. We've got so many more ways than we had just a year ago. It's so cool. But our number one thing, and one of the most important things that we have, is that decompression chair. Because we talk about how it can really elongate that spine. Well, it gets into what we're talking about, is trying to get that spine moving and get nutrients into that disc. So that disc doesn't dry out. Any of the forces that we put on it aren't as bad, but if it's drying out, they're going to wear out. Okay, so that's where that decompression comes in, and to visualize it, it really does just kind of pulls that spine apart. Okay, and it can hold it there, or it can come up and down, or it can come up and to the side to help the muscles that surround these joints really get calmed down and out of their tightness, which leads to a stuck vertebrae. All right, so that's our decompression. If you haven't been in to try it out, I highly recommend just getting in here 8 minutes and see if we can really get things kind of relaxed in your body. The other things we have, we have our adjustments. Absolutely. The number one thing we have, we're like a chiropractor, that's what we're here for, is our adjustments. Whether they're manual adjustments or using the machine, getting the joints to move, right? Because that's what happens, is you got a stuck segment, is getting that joint to move. And that we do that through the manual adjustments. Okay. Then we talk about our reconstructive care. Here at Bear Paw, the one thing that really sets us apart is our rehabilitation, our reconstructive care. So with the reconstructive care, what you're getting is exercises that promote those positive curves. Like, it all comes back to the same thing. We've got to get those positive curves. We've got to get the segments unstuck. So the exercises get to be how we promote those positive curves in the neck and the lower back. And they're done through directed exercises, right? As an athletic trainer, I couldn't imagine my athletes going anywhere and not getting some sort of exercise that help their bodies get better. And that's the same concept and the same belief system I have with chiropractic, is I can adjust all day long, but unless you get an exercise in there that actually helps to solidify and get those muscles working in the right place, everything is just window dressing. You're just not really doing a whole lot. So that's where a reconstructive program really comes in handy. A couple other things that we've gotten done in the last couple of months, what we've added here is we've actually added dry needling and cupping. Okay, trying to increase blood flow to any of the muscles that are stuck, right? Any of those muscles that are in that trigger point spasm response. Using the cupping and using the dry needling can really be a benefit to help augment or help support the chiropractic adjustment. Okay, so we've got a lot of things that we can do to help you, right? And we find out what's going on through the great neuromuscular evaluation that we do, and then the x-rays, right? So we find out what's wrong. We find out if it's a stuck segment, where that segment is stuck, and we hone in on the musculature around that stuck segment that could be causing problems anywhere else, right? So that is Bear Paw Chiropractic in a nutshell. We are really trying to beat back this arthritic response. This is not what we want, everyone. We don't want that. We want everything moving and smooth and fluid. All right, so, oh man, that is what we got for today. Any questions, anyone? If anyone has any questions, write them down in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. The last thing that Veronica wants me to tell you about. All right, see this? It's not just Winnie the Pooh's Honey Bowl. Look at all of these entries, everyone. Look at them. We've got so many entries. This is our anniversary drawing entry bowl. All right, there's so many in here. I'm so excited. Y'all have been amazing about coming on in and helping us support everything that's going on here. We've got one more week. Get in here. We are going through Monday. Monday is the 30th. Anniversary is technically on Sunday the 29th. We will go collecting raffle tickets and collecting names through the 30th. And I'm going to do the drawing right here on the Bear Den on Tuesday, the 1st of October. Veronica and I were talking today. We're going to need a bigger bowl to actually do the drawing, man. It's so cool. But come on in, get your tickets. Remember, you get 1 for scheduling another appointment. You get 2 for leaving us a review. You get 3 for reviewing sending a friend. And you get 5 for using that decompression. I've talked about the benefits of the decompression. You guys have to get in here and try it and really get that on your radar. It's so amazing for everybody. Not for everybody, everybody. It's so amazing. So, all right, everyone. I hope you are having an amazing week. We are down to the countdown. We've got 6 days till anniversary day. 7 more days of the raffle, 7 more days of this month, and then we're into October, and that's the fun part, right? Then we get into holiday season, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the end of the year. Like, can't believe how fast it's all gone. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for paying attention. We went a little long today, but it's all fun when you're talking to your friends. All right, I will talk to y'all soon. Have an amazing week.